Hey girlies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Zen and here we talk about all things beauty. Now, this week's video is just an updated full glam routine that I do every day because I feel like the last updated makeup routine I gave you guys was all the way in January, and I feel like since now that the weather has changed, my routine has changed as well. So right now is the perfect time for me to give you guys my updated full glam routine. So yeah, let's just hop on right into this video. Alright, the face is clean and now we're gonna get right into the glam, the skin prep, all of that. I always like to start with a lip mask just to keep my lips moisturized before we get to the actual lip combo. I'm currently using the Laneige lip mask. And now for the first step, we're going to start with the brows. Now that hasn't changed. I always start with my brows, so that's not going to change anytime soon. Before I actually fill in my brows and conceal them, I like to start off with a brow razor. And I like to just clean up my brows a little bit more because I feel like this step really helps you get that precise brow look. And whenever I do this, I feel like I use less product on my brows because it's already in shape. So I always make sure I go in with a brow razor and just pluck out those extra hairs that we don't need. Now we're just gonna brush away any hairs that we shaved off. You guys can already see how sharp and defined the brows look like. It looks really good. Next, I'm gonna fill in my brows using a brow pencil, and I make sure I sharpen the pencil as sharp as possible because we do want that sharp, defined look. Because if your eyebrow pencil has a dull tip, you can get that very messy, thick, dull look. So I make sure I always sharpen my brow pencil first. In my old routine, I always completely fill in my whole brow without any like thought process. But now when I'm filling my brows, I like to just fill in the gaps or any like spaces that I have between my brows. And I like to just make the tail of my brows a little bit longer, and that's pretty much all I do for my brows now. Because now the goal of my brows is to give off that like tinted eyebrow look, tinted waxed brow look. So yes, we're not gonna fill it in too much. Okay, you guys, the brows are filled in, and this is the look that I like to go for all the time now. I like to keep it very minimal and just a light tint because I feel like before I used to do them very dark and thick, but now I like to keep things very muted and toned down, especially my brows. Right after I fill my brows, I like to go with a brow gel just to hold the brows hairs in place because we don't want them to move, okay? While I'm doing this, I want to make sure every single hair is separated and evenly spread out because I like to go for that clean brow look. Before I conceal my brows, I like to go with like a flat edge and just flatten out the brows. That way the gel can really stay down. And I feel like this tip helps because the brows don't move, girl. They are flat down, okay? They do not move. And then just like to curve them. Now it's time for my favorite part, concealing the brows. In my previous makeup routine, I would usually use my foundation shade on top and then 2 shades lighter on the bottom. So I still do that step, like I love that step, so we're gonna do just that. Alright you guys, that was my full brow routine, and now it's time to move on to the eyeshadow. Alright, now for the eyeshadow, I've really been into like peachy nudes on my eyes. You guys already know I've always been into like the bronzy, warm eyeshadow looks, but now I've been moving more towards like peachy colors. I've been obsessed with that recently. Alright, for the eyeshadow, you guys know I always start off with the transition color, which is very warm. So we're gonna add that right on our eyes, just to warm the eyes up a bit because they are looking a little bit pale. And we're gonna use this color as a transition shade. And I'm gonna add a dark brown on the outer corner of my eyes because we wanna add some dimension to our eyes. Instead of just doing a full-on peach eyeshadow, we still wanna add some color and dimension to the eyes. And I like to slowly bring it in as if it was a cut crease. And now I'm gonna pack on this peach color here and then this light nude and mix these two together. I'm gonna put that right in my inner corners and sort of like a soft cut crease. I'm gonna go back in with the first warm color that I used just to warm up the eyes a little bit more. because we don't want this eyeshadow to be dark, okay? And the eyes are done. It's quite subtle, but this is usually like the signature eyeshadow that I go for now. Instead of me just keeping my eyes blank, I like to add a little bit of color but keep it very nude and neutral. So this is my updated everyday eyeshadow routine. And I'm just gonna clean up the end of my eyes and we're done. Now we're moving on to the base, and before I move on to the base, I just like to add some extra hydration. So I'm gonna go with my Laneige Water Bank and just add a little bit more hydration to the face, because we are about to go in with layers of makeup, okay? Recently, I've been going back into the underpainting technique. I don't know why, but I've been obsessed with how it's been coming out lately. So first we're going to be going in with our liquid bronzer. And you want to put on as much as possible because again, this is underpainting, so you do want it to peek through. And also my updated makeup routine is really aligning with the weather because it is getting warm outside, so I use less foundation. So I prefer doing underpainting because I don't use that much foundation. And now we blend away. And now on the blank areas, I like to add my liquid foundation, and I still use my Makeup by Mara foundation. It's the best. I love the formula, I love the coverage, so I still use this foundation to this day. I'm gonna add a little bit more foundation. I do want a little more coverage. And now I'm gonna conceal my face using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. Y'all already know I'm all about placement, so I keep my concealer as high as possible and make sure that it doesn't pass my cheeks. If you know, you know. And now I'm just gonna let that concealer dry down in place because you do get more coverage once you let it dry for a couple seconds. You guys should try it out. I've seen it, it works, love it. And then whatever excess is left on the brush, I like to just use it to just sculpt my jawline. And now my favorite part, blush. I've really been into like peachy blushes, so I'm gonna use my Rare Beauty Soft Pinch blush. And if you guys have any like peachy blushes recommendations down below, preferably liquid blushes, please comment them down below because I'm looking for some new blushes and I want to switch it up a bit because, you know, I'm always using like hot pink blushes, but like I've really been into like the soft peachy blushes, so yeah. And I'm gonna go with the bright concealer just to add some brightness under my eyes. That definitely didn't change my makeup routine. You guys know I love doing this stuff, so yeah. Look how beautiful this blush looks, you guys. I think when you use a peach color, it's just more soft and toned down. It looks very feminine. I just love peach blushes now. It's my new obsession. Okay, now before I set my face, I'm gonna add more of the liquid bronzer because I feel like it's not bronzy enough for me. And you guys know I love me a bronzed look. That's never gonna change. But I'm gonna add that to my palette so I can get more control and just get a softer look. Now we're gonna blend it out and add just a little bit cheekbones. And some more on the forehead. And now I'm gonna set my face with my favorite translucent powder, which is the Wet n Wild setting powder. Now it's time to add some work back to the face. You guys already know this is my favorite bronzer, the Fenty Beauty Mocha Mommy. Everybody has this in her collection. Now I'm gonna add some more blush and just put it right on the apples of my cheeks. Or maybe everywhere. And now it's time to wipe off that lip mask that we had on because your lips is fully moisturized now. And it's fully prepped for the lip combo. Now I'm gonna line my lips with this brown lip liner. This is the NYX Line Loud lip liner in shade Rebel Kind. And I feel like this shade is the closest one that I could find that's closest to my lip color. Because my lips is two-tone, the top is brown and the bottom is pink. But I feel like this one matches perfectly with my top lip. So I really love using this for my like soft lip combo days. And now for the lipstick, I'm going to use my Kylie Cosmetics High Gloss in shade Diva. I really love this color. It's like a peachy nude, and I feel like the peach ties in with the blush and the eyeshadow, so I always love pairing this with my NYX Line Loud lip liner. And last, I'm going with my e.l.f. lip oil in shade Coral Fixation. I almost forgot to add my bottom mascara, and usually I would have on lash strips, but I've currently been into my lash clusters again, so I am wearing lash clusters, so we don't have to put on any lashes. That just saved us so much time. That's why I love using lash clusters. It's such a good investment. You save so much money, so I feel like if you don't use lash clusters, you should definitely try it out. Alright you guys, this is the end of my updated full everyday makeup glam. I do feel like my makeup routine now is more muted down, it's more soft, which I really like. And I try to say like my full glam days for like events or parties or holidays, because I do feel like wearing a full glam every day is just not the best for your skin. And I prioritize my skin, so I try to keep things as minimal as possible when I'm not going out. So this is my updated full glam routine. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye!